What's up? It's your boy Bunhao. Today I'm gonna show you what I use to ink my drawing. I'm using Bristol paper to ink because the surface is smooth enough. Uh, I have a Saber brush, Series 7, size 3. So it's good because it holds a lot of ink and or water. You can use it for watercolor too. And I have a liner brush, which is E51. So this is I use black Indian ink because it's dark enough. It's the best ink for inking. I place it in my tub for easy access, and I have a yellow water bucket for to clean up my brushes and a rag. I think I'm just gonna tell you guys a little story about why I do art itself. I always kind of complain quite a lot. I kind of say that this is so tedious, but I don't think the word tedious is the right word. I think the right word to use is meditative, because when you start to get into the groove of inking, you start to the way you start to process it, when your hand and your eyes start to coordinate, you get used to the flow, and it feels very good. It feels like there's a purpose to there's a purpose to things. I mean, clearly art doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have to have a purpose. That is what art is to me. And to a certain extent, it's part of me, I guess. So every day I draw something new. Every day I try something new. I see something new and I try to imitate it. I need it, I guess. This is the truth. I need it. I need to have something new every day. I need to do something new every day. I can't just do the same thing, and it just it's not it's not my way, I guess. That's the way I think I should live, to live by your own terms. I think that is a very good quote. It's by I don't know where is it from, but I heard it from Gary Vaynerchuk. So it's it's a good thing, I think, to spread in the world, to tell people that they have a they have a choice to make in life. They are not helpless. They are always a choice to make, and they are not subjected to other people's will. You have your own will. You can do whatever you want. I mean, of course, it's when I say whatever you want, it doesn't mean you can go out and kill people and do shit like that. It just means that you have a choice to make, and you have that power to act on it. There's a reason why I like flow. I think everyone goes through the same flow in life. It's like a phase. You follow a certain step from be it life to death. It's like a process that everyone goes through, and then everyone will eventually, start to have their existential crisis. Start to question why things must be like this, and then there's the deepest question, human question about the meaning of life itself. Why is there no purpose for us, or what is meaningful to human beings? I think that question should be answered by your own process. I don't even have an answer to mine, so I can't really tell you what to do. But here's a very good story. It's from John Paul Sartre, and this story goes like this. I mean, I will try to rephrase. This man was innocent. An innocent man is being placed in jail. So he was thrown into prison and he was locked up. He knows he is innocent, But the fact is, he's an innocent man being locked up. So being imprisoned in the cell, they chain him up. So he's chained to the wall. So his arm is chained, his leg is chained, and he is being pinned down in a room, 6 by 6 room, unable to move at all. So for most people, they think this is the end of their life. For most people, they think, oh shit, this is it. There's nothing I can do anymore. I'm being stuck in a cell. I'm being accused of something that I didn't do. I'm being wronged. So most people, I say most because if you follow the psychology of things, people will become very resentful. They will become angry and resentful. Why did this thing happen to me? Why must it happen to me? So this is a very difficult process to overcome, I suppose. But the man himself, in the story, in the novel he wrote, the man didn't give up. You see, he didn't give up hope that he might be free because he knows that he is innocent. So every single day he just exert force onto the chain, knowing it might not break. It's a chain after all. So he just exert strength onto the chain, not knowing whether he will be free or not. He just do it every single day. So eventually the chain broke. That's the story. He might not be free, but at least he's broken the chain. He might not be free from the prison. He might not escape either, but he was free from the chain because he continued to do something about his own situation. Even if it's very dire, there is still something you could have done. There's still something you could do till the end. You shouldn't give up life like that easily. You should keep going at it, even if you are being imprisoned. Even if you are losing your life, you must fight. I think that's the ultimate truth. You have to keep go at it. You can't just give up, even if your situation is bad. Giving in is bad. Not doing something is also bad. So that's it. You have to keep going at it. Never give up. Never give in. The quote to never give up and never give in is from Winston Churchill. I truly like history. I think history have a lot to teach man, especially from great men. They always have things to say to you if you just listen, if you just look. There's always things to learn. I think that is why I like history. Always something new in the old. People always think this is backwards. No, you're not backwards. You're learning something new. That's important, even if it's something from history. You look at it, you learn it, and ta-da, something new. I think people always have this need to know. It's the curiosity in our DNA, I suppose, that makes us also different from other animals. The constant need to learn, or the desire to learn, that makes us different. And the ability to think that is from learning. It's not from. I think if animals start to be curious, start to have the idea of wanting to learn more, I think that will make them sentient. Because after all, if they wanted to learn more than what they are designed for or what they are capable of, I think that makes them sentient. That is why I think a lot of people is worried about AI, because they are doing things that makes them seem sentient. They are not sentient. Deep learning doesn't make them sentient. It just makes them do things on a scale that is very impossible for humans to do. So they can just keep repeating the same process 1,000 times to get the right answer, or 1,000,000 times or 1,000,000,000 times to get the right answer. It doesn't make them sentient. So I suppose that is the thing about AI, that what makes people fear AI, because they can pretend to be human, they can pretend to be sentient, but they might not be sentient. You know, there's this very cold, inhuman thing in AI. I think this fear of AI isn't something that is new. I think to fear the unknown is common throughout history, even to classic mythology. They have this fear too. The people of the past, the fear of being replaced, is a male anxiety. You can see all the you can read about the stories about ancient gods that begins with oppressing their children or eating their children. You know, it's like that constant fear of being replaced that is being projected onto the religion, or into the story, into the mythology itself. For example, it's like Uranus and Gaia. The story goes like this: uh, Uranus is the sky and Gaia is the earth, so they 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 bonded and then they have children. But because he's a god, so he foresaw that the children will someday overthrow him. He trapped the children inside of Gaia, so he refused to let his children be born, so they cannot overthrow him, so he can maintain his power. This reminds me of the theory of the Big Bang theory. It's kind of similar for me. I think there's a pattern to it. it the, the pattern itself is the Earth and the sky were two entities, right? So the Earth god is Gaia, the sky god is uh, Uranus. But in science, Earth itself and the atmosphere was, during the Big Bang, they were going at each other. So they were together, they were being pressured together, and only through time they separated, and therefore we have the atmosphere, the sky, and Earth, but only through time. You see, so the story itself, he says that Kronos, the god of time, he cuts off Uranus' penis. So it only happens through time that Uranus and Gaia separated. So the Earth and the sky separated because only through time. So that's something interesting for me to learn, and it kind of reflects back onto the process of how Earth was being formed during the early age of the Big Bang. The idea of male anxiety, the fear of being replaced. In these stories, they tell through the ancient history and even classic mythology. They are being passed down to us as values. And even if you don't understand this, I think through our DNA, that male anxiety is being passed down by our ancestors. I think that is part of the human process. That's why the fear of being replaced and the fear of the unknown isn't something that is very new. It's, it's been happening since ancient time. For the fear of the unknown itself, I like to talk about the story of Hercules. But in order to become a god, to be idolized, he have to accomplish the 12 tasks given to him. And one of the things is to slay the lion and to kill the hydra. Stuff like this is the unknown, because people always imagine, even in ancient time, they imagine the unknown. There are danger there, so they imagine lions with wings, or dragons with multiple heads. Stuff like this is out of fear, I suppose. Fear and imagination. And because Hercules accomplished all the tasks and he become worthy of becoming a god. It becomes something that is part of ancient culture. So the people, the men back then, they idolize Hercules because he did something that is worthy of God, of becoming a god. And I think that also is good for society because it tells people to not fear the unknown, to conquer it instead. Thanks for watching. I'll try to update as often as I can. Bye.